Hello, we're back. I don't know what day this is of the coronavirus quarantine, but it's getting along. So I thought I'd spruce myself up a little bit for video, make myself feel a little better while I'm doing my meals. Last night, we started a new, chef delivery service, and it's Green Chef. First time. Minimum order is 3 meals instead of 2, unlike the ones we've done before. Good prices. I would say they're normally only about $10 each or less, but when they first start, I think they were only about $5 each, which is great. Last night we did pork patties with piccata sauce. Wasn't really sure on the pork patties with the piccata, but it was good. It's not something I would have tried on my own, so that's why this is also kind of nice. You get a feel for things you wouldn't normally try. I do have to say, when I opened the box, one of the proteins in the bottom was leaking out a little bit. It even got on the cards. And the green beans, when I opened them, I had to throw away almost half of them. They just were not fresh. They weren't that good. So on that count, I was not that impressed. Everything else turned out really well. I liked it. It was a good dish. Tonight, we are doing the smoky chicken with cotija cheese. I think that's how you pronounce it. And tomorrow we might do the Korean beef and noodle stir fry. That's the one thing is when you get these, to get 3 of them, you kind of have to cook them pretty quickly. Otherwise, the fresh stuff starts kind of getting not so fresh. I do have to say, we'd opened, because I saw some of the protein leaking, I opened the bag already for the smoky chicken with cotija, and everything was mostly okay. We've got our veggies for the side dish, but when I went to look at the cilantro cider vinaigrette, it was already cut open like this and kind of leaking in the bag. So we're not going to use that. Never too safe, I guess. It's probably fine, but I guess I'm just going to try to make up my own kind of pesto vinaigrette without the cilantro. I unpacked everything so you could see everything laid out, and I did mispronounce the cheese. It's Cotija. You've got your corn, carrots already chopped, which is interesting because the other 2 services we did, HelloFresh and Home Chef, did not chop anything. Cabbages chopped, veggie bouillon, cumin seeds, rice, and a spiced veggie broth. I do like their cards. They tell you the cooking time, the calories per serving, what type of menu you're getting, and any allergens in the recipe. So I'm going to get everything together and start getting things cooking. I have all my pots and pans ready. I'm preheating the oven to 400 degrees, and I'm heating up, it's at 1.5 tablespoons of oil, and we are going to toast the cumin seeds until they're just a little bit fragrant. I just set it a couple of minutes. And like I showed you, tonight's veggies are all chopped up, but last night's meal, you do have to chop the veggies, so I don't want you to think that everything from them comes already like pre-cut and chopped, because some people like that and some people don't. Everyone has their own style of what they like to do for dinner. So when those are fragrant, we're going to add the rice packet and 1¼ cup slightly salted water. Now, I have never salted my water before I put it into the pan, but we're going to try it. All right, pouring in the rice and the water. Now we're going to bring this to a boil. We're going to bring this to a boil and crumble in the veggie bouillon. Ooh, kind of messy. Okay, ew. It's a strange texture. It's okay. So we're going to bring that to a boil. All right, I now have patted the chicken dry with paper towel, seasoned it with some salt and pepper, and put it in for about 3 minutes on each side just to get it a little golden brown on each side. The rice is cooking back there. The oven's heating, and they told me to put veggie oil in another pan that we are going to heat up and put the veggies in there with. So I'm going to give this 1 more minute, and I am going to start with the carrots. I wish you could use a knife, but go with the flow. They're all nice and chopped up. They look pretty good. Oh, I guess there was a little Ziploc. Oops. They made it even easier. I was making it more difficult. Okay, so those are in, and we're going to cook those, set for a few minutes till they're tender. Get them all in the oil. We'll see how the timing on this whole recipe turns out. The chicken's been seared a little bit. The carrots are cooking nicely. They look beautiful. The spice in the rice smells really nice too, by the way. So now we're going to dump the veggie broth in the chicken. And we are going to move this, it says, into the oven. We're going to let it roast and finish up for, I think, 10 to 12 minutes or so. So this is nice too, because it kind of gives you some different cooking techniques. I mean, I have done that before, but not very often, from stovetop into the oven. And I believe, by my timer, the carrots are about ready to have everything else added. So now we are going to add the corn and the cabbage and stir it and cook for another 3 to 4 minutes. And I'm going to try to figure out how to substitute that cilantro cider vinaigrette that was open. Not good, guys. It was not good. I'm scared to use it. So I'm going to try some traditional basil pesto that I have at home. We'll see how that turns out. The timer just went off on the oven for the chicken. The veggies were done. I've never thought about putting these veggies together, but they were beautiful. Carrots, red cabbage, and corn. And I just put in a little bit of basil pesto that I had at home that I watered down with a little apple cider vinegar, since the vinegar packet was open and scary. And I am now going to take the chicken out. Tell the dog to move out of the way. He likes to help. Now, one thing, it did say to take the chicken out and put it on the cutting board now, and then we're going to make like a pan gravy out of the sauce. There was something really confusing on the directions though. It says to make a pool of paprika chili pan sauce on one side of each plate for the chicken before we plate it. But nothing was ever said in the ingredients about a chili pan sauce or chili anything. So I don't know if I'm assuming that the chili was in the broth that we poured in. So that's a little confusing on the directions. Everything's almost done. We were making the pan sauce out of the veggie broth that came out of the oven. Took the chicken off and set it on the cutting board and cut it up like it said. Cooked perfectly. And now I'm putting in butter. We're going to mix that in. And once that's done, we put that on the pan with the confusing terminology of the chili sauce. I'm not sure what they mean. Okay, voila. This is their photo card. Smoky chicken with cotija. This is the plate. I actually think the veggies look fresher and prettier and more colorful than they actually do in the picture. They give you a lot of cheese to sprinkle on. I'll post about the tasting, but pluses, things were already chopped up. Everything was fragrant. The steps went well. There was just confusion about calling something a chili sauce for plating that they hadn't mentioned before, and the fact that cilantro drizzle was already opened up, which was kind of bad. But other than that, it looks good. Let you know.